Hi and welcome to this video on my journey into collecting a Vostroyan Firstborn army. If you read the blog that goes with this video on the website, you'll see the reasons why I'm doing this. To summarise, it's just about the quality of the models that they made, these old Vostroyan models, and I managed to get myself some. They're not produced anymore. They originally made them back in 2005, I think it was, and then they did another run, a single week in 2018 from Games Workshop, where you could get these models made to order, which was really cool. So the models themselves are still kicking about on the second-hand sites. You can still get them painted, not painted. Before I go any further, they are available recast, but in no way are we going to be using any recast models. It's morally wrong. Though we will look a little bit at 3D printing individual parts at some point if we need to, for custom models that we design ourselves. But yeah, for the most part we're using Games Workshop models only, and then there are one or two extra elements from Victoria or Anvil Industries that we might use as well. So just to talk about why I want to go with the Vostroyans, I have been collecting these guys here. If we look down on the other camera, these are my sort of basic tabletop ready Cadians that I've had over the last year since I got back into it, and then these Scions that I really like the models of, but I wanted something a bit more interesting. And the Vostroyans, if you go into the codex, there's loads of information about these guys in here. The codex is wonderful things to have. If you don't have one, I would recommend getting it. I know that the 9th edition, there's all changes coming through, but this latest Guard codex is a really lovely thing. And in the regimental colours section here, you can look through and see the reason why we want to collect these Vostroyan models. They're just beautiful things, really interesting models, harking back to the whole Russian military crossover from the early 20th century. Really lovely pieces. And I was lucky enough to find a job lot of them on one of the auction sites. And so this video today is just going to be about unboxing those models and seeing what we've got, seeing if we've got enough to make a usable army for 9th edition. Now, I know that the army sizes in 9th range from combat patrol at 500 points up to the onslaught up at 3,000 points. We're not going to be aiming at onslaught, but I really want to get together a couple of thousand points worth of models so we can, if needs be, play a strike force game, and also have a really usable, flexible force. I don't want to go overboard with these models. The way that the troops have changed over the years from the earlier platoon makeup and then to individual squads as troop selections has gone. It's sort of changed the dynamic a little bit when you're playing Astra Militarum or Imperial Guard, as they used to be known when I first started playing and then stopped playing 15-20 years ago. So we're going to just have a look at what we've got. It should be enough to make up a good selection of troops, maybe with a couple of heavy support options, which will really complement the other units that I've got to add to the army from my existing collection and the couple other bits I've got as well. So what we'll do, we're just going to open up the box, we're going to see what's in it. I did actually purchase an extra couple of models off eBay to try and just bolster a couple of squads, because it was a little heavy weapon heavy from the job lot that I bought. You may have noticed there's a little camera sitting up here as well that we're going to turn to from time to time if we want to have a look at what I'm bringing out. So we'll be flipping between the camera views. This was my box that turned up from Italy, and these 3 bags were 3 bags of half a dozen troops each that I got from a nice chap on the reselling site. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, we're going to see what we've got, we're going to put everyone in squads. I don't imagine we'll have one of everything in every single squad, because when they made these minis there was a selection of bits you could get, and the basic squad makeup was obviously an officer, sergeant, special weapons trooper, heavy weapons section, which was generally with these guys always came out as a heavy bolter, and then you had 6 troops, 6 individual troops. So just these guys look like this. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit on here. They're really nice white metal models. I think these ones that I've got in the bag are a mix of the later made to order from 2018 and the original sort of 2005 onwards models. But they're really cool models. They've got these big Russian style fur hats. They've got gas masks. A lot of them have got gas masks. Some of them have got big moustaches. We're going to try and go fairly gas mask heavy. The theme of the army is going to be largely around the fact that the home world, Vostroyan, is a bit of a shithole in terms of breathing atmosphere. But yes, you see these guys are really nice models that we're going to go for. So we're going to just pull this out, see what we've got, and then I'll speed up the footage while we sort through everything. What we're going to do as we go as well is over on the computer over here is we're going to write down everything we've got once we've put them into squads, and so then we can choose our army. I'm not going to keep everything. Some of this has to be sold to get back some of the cost of buying the models originally, but that, because I've got a very good deal on the bits that I bought, that should be quite straightforward. So we're just going to keep unboxing all of this. Nice original blister packs with the letters on. So the pricing the Games Workshop used to have here, you used to buy your blister packs according to the letter, that was their cost, and then you look down on the key and find what their cost was. This was harking back to when I used to play as a 12, 13-year-old up to 16, 17, that was probably when I finished my last collection. So we've got a nice Vostroyan officer there. Las Cannon team. I should put these models back in here for a minute. Pile of bases as well. Nice pile of bases. And we start bringing out the bags and bags of things that we bought, which is, by the looks of things, that's a bag of Casualties. So the Vostroyans, when they did the range originally in the platoon boxes, they included these Casualties, dead troopers, for creating dioramas or having on the battlefield. But they're really cool. They just they sort of got bits missing, and yeah, they really look like they've had a hard time. They're really cool little addition, little thing to have. Not much use for the army in itself, but very helpful. Here we have, this looks like snipers, a bag of Vostroyan snipers. In here we've got, that looks like an assortment of troopers and a couple of special weapons. A big old bag of what looks like command squads. In here, one of the things that I should be able to just pull out here, you've got these really nice standard bearers here. The detail in these models, this is one of the reasons why I love them. The details in these casts are great. Some people do often say about the proportions of these models being slightly out, but when they're painted up, when they're done really well, they look fantastic. So that's what I'm aiming for this time. So we've got a whole bag of commandy bits there. We've got a bag of troops. Another bag of troops and some special weapons. It's worth noting that, thankfully, one of the models that we did have when these were being made was they made some of these models with plasma rifles. Now, plasma is really important for the current meta with Kill Team as well. It's a really usable option for your troops, for your special weapons troopers and in Kill Team as well. So it's good that I've got hopefully a few of these guys to call upon as well. Then we've got another bag of mixed troops. We've got a big heavy bag here, which I think is all heavy weapons. The heavy weapons options from these guys, they had a las cannon, a heavy bolter team and a mortar team as well. So you've got a few different heavy weapons options from standard. Obviously you can do some converting as well. But I'll be going through and having a look at those. We have got another little blister pack with some snipers in. another bag of mixed troops. And a little tiny bag with a couple of officers in. So that should be absolutely everything. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open these bags up. I'm going to sort them all into model type. So we'll group all the troops together by their model. There were 6 different types of standard troop. And then we'll group the different special weapons together, the heavy weapons together, the officers together. And from there, we'll be able to start building our basic army list. We'll be doing another video on the list as we keep making it. We're going to add our heavy support sections, our tanks. We've got some fast attack to go in as well. All of them themed very much around this whole Vostroyan homeworld, with all the crap toxic air that they have there, which is why a lot of these guys have their masks on and stuff. So we'll get back in a bit. Right. Okay, so just to have a quick stop, I've just gone through the bag of command section. So the way that the makeup of these armies has changed from when these were first released. You originally had to have your command squad, or your and then your individual squads, platoon command squads. So things have changed over the years, and now you can do it with just a commanding officer. There's loads of different options for your HQ choice, but it's really cool to see that I've actually managed to have here enough to make 4 whole command squads out of the comms, standard bearers, commanding officers, and then we swing down. At the bottom here you've got 4 medics as well. And then as we come up here, there's the grenade launchers that were originally included as well. I think they had one of these in each command squad too. So, and then there's also a part of a sniper that I've just brought out this bag here, which he's going to have to go in with the snipers when we go through that. I've also got, still in the blister pack, one of the original officers. I'm going to keep him in the blister pack for now, because if you look in here, these are the sergeants for the squads. And there's 3 different varieties that you've got. You've got this chap here with a power sword and a plasma pistol, this chap here who's got a las pistol and a power fist, and then you've got this chap here who has got a bolt pistol and a chainsword. So that gives you quite a lot of variety for when you're building your squads as well. There'll be a little bit of repetition if you're running 6 squads of identical officers, but that's or 6 squads of troops. You'll have some identical officers coming through, but then with the way that the armies are built now, a lot of people will be running silencers troop choices as well, so this doesn't matter quite so much. I'm probably going to be running 4, maybe 5 squads, so there might be some options to customise or convert one of these guys to give me the variation. So we're going to just pause this camera up here, we're going to transfer the video across whilst I go and make myself another cup of coffee, and then we'll start looking at all the other options that we've got as well. Cool. So we're just going to pick up where we left off just before that little break, where I made myself a cup of very appley coffee. I was just getting the command sections of the Vostroyans out, just seeing what we've got. I've just started putting them into this these trays just so I can keep everything separate. I have a sneak feeling that the trays I've got aren't going to be enough for the number of models I've got, so I'll see how far I can get with this. I just thought I'd have them laid out like this. This complete tray here is the 4 command squads, totally complete. All the models got all their parts that we need, so I've just laid this out. I'll put this to one side and then we can carry on. Our next tray that we've got here This has got our sergeants in, our sort of officers, and the 2 incomplete Fox officers here. So we'll just stroll into this and show you what's going on there. So that's got our, these guys haven't got their Vox packs, which is a shame, but that's fine because we already have the 4 completed command squads. And just sitting up in here, we've got just one chap with a grenade launcher. I am writing down now everything that I've got as I go, putting it into here, so I'll keep updating this list. And whilst we skip forward and go faster, I'll put some music on, which you won't be able to hear. So I'm just going to look at this model that we're working on at the moment. We're going to work our way through the snipers. There's 2 different models of snipers that you can have. So we'll just have a little zoom in here, and there's this chappie here who's sighting down his sight. I'm just holding him together just for a minute. He's got a backpack as well. So we've got a model with a backpack and his sniper rifle up to his face. And then we've also got this really cool guy. He's got a great mask, and his sniper rifle's held down lower, just like this. So he doesn't have a backpack because he's got this amazing cape that runs around the back of him. It's really nice detailing on that cape. Kind of almost a little bit looks like scales, or it could be a bit like the kind of Tanith camo cloaks that they had from the Dan Abnett novels, which I would recommend that you read if you haven't read them. They're amazing. He's a fantastic writer, and he's the reason that I love the Imperial Guard Astra Militarum so much, is that the way that he writes about them, about these underdogs in the Imperial Guard. So go and read them. All the novels by Dan Abnett. So I'm just going to see how many of these guys we've got now. So just coming to the end of the snipers, I've got 4 complete pairs of snipers and an extra complete pair of snipers still in the blister pack here. So what I've done is I've popped them into here. These guys, who are these sort of incomplete models, I'm going to put these guys up to one side for now, and then I'll have a little look through the box that everything came in. I'll have a look through the other bags just to see if any of those other parts are in there. But I've got some real solid units here. Like, I'm really happy with this lot that came. Goes up here out of the way. Now we're going to move on and we're going to try and start filling up these. I'll leave the casualties for now. I think what I'll do is I'll start doing some troops and special weapons as I work my way through these bags of troops and special weapons. Like I said, there was 6 varieties of standard lasgun trooper. Then you had your grenade launchers and plasma rifles as well, and flamers for your special weapons troopers. I think that was everything, so I should be building up quite a little collection of those. So I'm just going to crack on and find my 6 different types of guys, and I'll lay them out so you can have a little look. Some of them have got little slightly bent components, and some of them are completely intact as they should be. But these models, they actually last really well. Okay, so I've just zoomed in on these guys down here. I've actually got an extra type of sergeant that we didn't have before. So if we look up here, you see you've got right at the top here, you've got your power fist las pistol guy, you've got your power sword plasma pistol, you've got your bolt pistol chainsword, and you have got, and I forgot about this little chap, he is a las pistol and pointing. So this is quite a nice little variation there. So you've got a 4th sergeant that I had completely overlooked, and I had seen pictures of this guy online and thought he was really cool. And then yeah, when I was getting out the command squad bag, I totally missed him. So that's another really cool one to have. But what I'll do is I'll bring this down here, and you've got 6 different troopers here. A couple of guys with actual full masks on, which is these 2 guys here, which I'm going to hold up. Hopefully they'll, obviously the resolution will come down a little bit. So you've got these 2 guys here, one with a bayonet, one without. You've got one chap here who's got a bionic eye. Then you've got 3 guys with their moustaches in full flow, those guys with las rifles. Then you've got grenade launch trooper, flame trooper, and plasma trooper. I like the fact that the special weapons troopers here, they've all got their masks on. They all have masks full time, so I don't think they did any variants of those without the masks. The whole army that I'm going for, the theme I really want to build around that whole hostile environment. I know Forge World did some great Acadian hostile environment troops, but that's what I want these guys to be. It also works with my the scions that I've got, the scions that I have kept from my collection, which I'm still going to use and still going to work on. Those guys all have face masks on. I didn't want anyone with their faces exposed, just to kind of keep that hardcore hostile environment thing. Okay, I'm going to start splitting these guys all up. Hopefully all of the bags that I got like this, all of the ones from Italy, I hope they're all in a similar kind of vein. That would be really cool. And yeah, we'll keep going with this. So I've just reached the end of the squads that I got from my Italian purchase, and I've got 5 full squads here. I've got 5 of each variant of troop. I've got 5 of these sergeants, and then I've got 5 of each of the special weapons, which is awesome, and a spare grenade launcher there as well. So that's really cool, and I am just going to go through the bags, the mixed lot bags I got. These aren't split the same way that these guys are, but I'm just going to divvy these guys up into their groups too, so I can see how many of everyone I've got. The guys that have come from Italy, I don't know if it's whether they've been cleaned up or what, but they're slightly, ever so slightly discoloured. They've gone a slightly off shade of white. There are bits of them that still shine, but I just took a file to the bottom of one of them and he cleaned up really nice, so I don't know if I need to look to maybe getting a sort of mild acid etch to bring that back to its normal shiny colours. I know that sometimes the white metal that Games Workshop used did vary in quality quite considerably, so you never really knew what you're going to get, but the casts themselves are all really nice. So I'm not worried about these being any kind of recast or anything. So yeah, I'm just going to crack on and keep going with this and see how many of everything I've got. Bit of quick maths on my troops, which are down here. So I've done some counting. We don't have equal numbers of everything. So like I've got 8 of these guys just here. I've got 10 of these guys here, 7 of these guys here. I've got 6 of these guys here, 10 of these guys here, and I've got another 7 of these guys here. But in all, I've got 48 troops, which is 8 squads worth of troops. Obviously, that changes up a little bit if you're doing veterans or whatever, but just for standard troops, that's 8 squads worth. Now, we could do it so if we didn't have any of the heavy weapons, which are this bag here, if we didn't have any of those in the squads, obviously that dynamic would then change, because then you'd have to have 8 troops in each squad, which means we'd have 6 squads plus a special weapons and a sergeant. But I'm going to count up the heavy weapons now and see how many we've got, which should give me a really good indication of how many squads we can make up, how many squads we're going to keep, how many squads we're going to move on. So I'll carry on counting. I'll move this stuff out of the way, give ourselves a bit more room. Okay, so this is our heavy weapons bag here. Now, the heavy weapons that we've got here, you've got your mortar crew, or you've got your mortar, which has a firer and crew, and then you've got a heavy bolter as well, which has a loader, and you've got a las cannon as well, which has a two-man crew too. So I'm just going to sort these guys into their parts. Right. And these come in slightly more pieces, so with these there's a lot more assembly than on some of these other troops. So like these bolt guys, they have to go together here, they lay down on the floor and they're aiming, and actually they make a really nice little model here. A little bit, when you have too many of them the same, it can be a bit samey. Let's just get a little zoom in on here, but you can see how he's got his bolter there that he lays down flat on his base. And it's just a really nice model there. He has a loader that goes with him, if I can find one, which is this chap here, and he holds a drum of ammo. It's just a really nice model, and I really prefer these to the kind of standard plastic kits that you get for the heavy weapons. And you guys can see as well from this new blister pack here that the las cannon's got quite a standard position firer, chap pulling the trigger here, and then a really cool spotter model as well, which is chap with his glasses where he's having a little peek. But yeah, it's a really nice model, so I think I'm half tempted to have myself make myself a little heavy weapons team of las cannon as well, but we'll see how we get on. We'll see what numbers look like for this. Okay, so having just gone through my heavy weapons, and I'll write these all down in a minute, I'm a little bit pleased, to say the very least, with the fact that I've got 6 complete las cannon teams. I've got 5 mortar teams, and 6 complete heavy bolter teams, and 1 heavy bolter team that's missing a chap. He's missing his loader. So I'm still hopeful that he might turn up. But there's a whole wealth. Obviously, making up the squads, each squad's going to have a heavy weapons crew attached to it. But then that still leaves so much to play with in terms of building a list. Do you have a hardcore las cannon support or a mortar squad at the back too? Or you could have both, for example. I've got enough models here to make that choice. So the last thing I'm going to go through just here is my little bag full of casualties. I'll do a little zoom in and you can have a look at these blisters here. And as far as I can remember with these guys, you get 3 casualties in a team. So you get 2 guys who are laying down on the floor with their arms up. You've got 1 guy face down who's just here. You've got this chap here who's face up with his arm up in the air, and then you've got this chap here who actually has his ribs on show, which is kind of grim. I'm just going to hold that up to the camera a little bit. His ribs are all out on show, which is kind of grim, but also really cool. So I just get these sorted into little trios, so I know how many I've got. So presumably, I'm trying to think back to what the platoon boxes would have had in them, but it looks like this collection is 4 complete platoon boxes, because these casualties would have come as part of the platoon boxes when they were originally bought. So I've got loads and loads and loads of models here to play with. I'm just going to fill these into the list of what we've got, and then I'm going to start having a think about what we can do for teams. So this is what we've managed to unbox so far. Open it up so we can see our whole collection. Got these guys here, these guys here, these guys here. I'm going to pop these little snipers over here just out of the way, and these guys here. So what we've actually got is a really solid load and load of miniatures for this army, for this Vostroyan army. So we're going to break it down into squads. It looks like I'm probably going to have a core of 4 squads. That will leave me a couple of troop slots free for scions if I don't want to run detachments, because obviously 9th changes the way that that works a little bit. But yeah, this is my unboxing. This is all the toys I have to play with, and we're going to be running these videos. I'll try and get one out a week, and also possibly a lunchtime live stream for when we're doing the modelling and converting as well. But all the information will go up on the website. Cool. Thanks for watching.